A look at whether Hollywood's big bet on sequels will see.
Hi, everybody. Wave storm tracking team meteorologist Ryan Hoke here with you. A little unexpected today, but here we are with a wave weather alert day and now a tornado warning for parts of Floyd and Harrison County. This includes Georgetown, Lanesville, New Albany until 1:45 this afternoon. Nearly 60,000 people within this tornado warning. I want to show you what we're looking at here. It's a storm near Crandall, just north and west of Lanesville, west of Georgetown, right just north of I-64. And of course, New Albany is also in this tornado warning. So it's definitely some bigger towns with higher populations in this tornado warning. What I'm going to do is pop on here the velocity so you can see where the rotating winds are. There we go, our velocity scope, and you'll notice it is just south of Crandall there, just to the south and east, where you've got this little whirligig right here. We've been watching this for about the last, say, 25 minutes or so, as this has been transitioning through Harrison County, just north of Corydon here. And it's always had this little bit of rotation that the storm just couldn't seem to shake off. And indeed, as it's now moving toward Georgetown, near the Georgetown Drive-In, that's where we're seeing the potential for a tornado. National Weather Service now seeing enough evidence in this storm that it could potentially put down a tornado. Again, we don't have any evidence that a tornado is on the ground right now, but we have to act like one is. So you need to be in your tornado safe place if you're in Crandall, if you're in Lanesville, if you're in Georgetown, anywhere along I-64 between Georgetown, New Albany. This includes Floyd's Knobs. This includes Galena. You need to be in your safe place immediately. What we can do is put on what's called our D-scope or debris scope here and look for any sort of tornado debris. Not seeing that right now. So again, we're kind of in the pre-tornado stage of this. But because of the history of this storm keeping up with the rotation all throughout parts of Harrison County, we're of course going to see if there's going to be any sort of tornado that may try to spring from this thing here within the next little bit. Again, if you're in Louisville, this storm is actually heading toward Jefferson County. So Louisville area is under the gun from this storm, despite us not being under a tornado warning just yet. You'll notice some areas downstream of this include Jeffersonville, downtown Louisville, Shively, the Highlands, up toward, say, Sellersburg. On the southern side of Sellersburg, essentially, here's where this storm could threaten next. But we continue to monitor this as it moves from Harrison into Floyd counties at the moment. You see US 150 there from Greenville down toward areas near Galena. That's where we're really concerned about a tornado trying to touch down in that area at the moment. Again, there's no indication at the moment that a tornado has touched down, but the concern is that one could touch down here at any moment. So you need to be in the bottom level of your house, your apartment, your condo complex, away from doors and windows. Again, this is approaching Georgetown. This is Lanesville. You're close enough that this is still a problem. You're under the warning, obviously. Be in your tornado safe place. Duncan there, Floyd's Knobs, anywhere close to Indiana 62 and 64, and US 150 and I-64 there near like the Sam's restaurant there, and of course the JC Food Mart right off the exit there. You guys need to be in your safe place immediately in Floyd County. This is a very popular route to get up toward Palmyra, toward areas closer to Orange County, to Huber's Orchard and Winery. If you're trying to get there from 64, that's going to be a zone that's currently under this tornado warning, right in Floyd's Knobs, Indiana here. So let's look at the velocity once again here to see where exactly the rotating winds are in this thunderstorm. Again, this is kind of a last-minute thing here. I know a lot of folks are probably like, what on earth, a tornado warning on the 4th of July here? There is just enough ingredients in the atmosphere right now to squeeze off enough rotation to give us some concern here for a potential tornado. Now, because this radar scan's getting a little aged or old here, this actual area of rotation is probably closing in on Georgetown, so I would put it somewhere around here. Once we get a new scan, it'll move to the east here. So again, this is just north of I-64, where the kind of concentrated tornado risk is. Georgetown, Indiana, safe place right now. Duncan, safe place. Floyd's Knobs, safe place. That is underground in a basement if you have one, away from doors and windows, first floor of your house if you don't have a basement, and that's going to be like an interior hallway or an interior windowless bathroom. Cover your head. Helmets are fantastic. Make sure that you're wearing, I should say, shoes, just in case any sort of tornado debris you happen to encounter there. Let's hope that doesn't happen today, but that's what we're tracking right now, is a storm that is potentially capable of putting down a tornado somewhere between Crandall and Georgetown at this time. I want to go back to a wider view here because I know a lot of folks are probably tuning in going, what on earth is going on here? First off, if you're in central or southern Kentucky, you're good. North central Kentucky, Louisville area, this storm may threaten Louisville here with a tornado potential. It does not currently have a tornado warning for the city right this second. But boy, is it close. Literally just across the Sherman-Minton Bridge, you're in a tornado warning right now. So Louisville, Highlands, areas closer to Linden. If you're in Jeffersonville, if you're on the south side of Sellersburg, you need to be on standby. Be ready to go to your tornado safe place just in case this tornado warning gets extended downstream here. We're going to stay on air as long as it takes to get you through this tornado warning here. We're thinking this is going to be a one-off situation, which is good, but we want to get through this safely. We want to get through this hopefully without a tornado as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom back in here, call out some streets, some areas. We've already gone through some of the geography of what's going on in this area and what areas need to be in their tornado safe place. Of course, near Georgetown, Duncan, Floyd's Knobs, New Albany, pretty much just marching just north of the I-64 route here, right toward US 150, where you get off there in the Galena and Floyd's Knobs area. Let's get to the velocity here so you can see where these rotating winds are at this time. Again, this is closing in on Duncan, Georgetown. You guys, it's pretty much on top of you right now. Okay, there we go. You can see a little bit of a velocity couplet here where there could be some rotation. Winds coming toward the radar, away from the radar. See that little spin right there? That is now just south of I-64, and this looks like it's going to miss Georgetown just to the south. So between Georgetown and Lanesville on this latest scan here, this may vary by up to a mile or two north or south as, you know, this is kind of a line of storms, and this is going to get jostled around a little bit where this area of rotation is. But still, Duncan, Floyd's Knobs, New Albany, the entire city of New Albany needs to be in their tornado safe place immediately. This is a life-threatening situation as a tornado could touch down at any point here, despite us not having evidence that a tornado has touched down. This is kind of a preparedness thing to make sure you're in your tornado safe place, ready to go in case this thing does spring a tornado on us here at literally any given second. I kind of have to keep rotating through our different tools here to monitor this storm in real time here with you. And one of those tools, of course, is our debris scope. Whenever you see that D scope on our icons here, that means debris, and we're looking for signatures on the radar that look like debris being lofted in the air by a potential tornado here. We just don't see that. What you would typically see is kind of a deep yellow and almost like a green blue shade on here in a spot. We don't have that right now, and that's fantastic news. Let's keep that up, all right? Again, this is the only warning in our area. We have had a severe thunderstorm watch issued for most of our counties here through about, I believe that is 7 o'clock this evening here, if my math is right on that. We'll continue to watch for areas downstream of this, like Shelbyville, Frankfort, Louisville, LaGrange. We'll see what happens with that particular storm here, and we'll see what happens here. It looks like just getting some information in here that the Crescent Hill 4th of July Festival in Louisville and their art festival outside, they just told everyone to start taking shelter. That is being proactive. Hats off to Crescent Hill for doing that. Even though we're not under a warning in Louisville just yet, I really like seeing that some events are taking this seriously, paying attention to the Wave Weather app and the radar here, and seeing what's coming kind of upstream from the city of Louisville. I can't mention, of course, you know, this tornado warning without having Louisville in this conversation, because it's right here. Literally over 750,000 people lying kind of in wait here, waiting for another tornado warning to potentially be issued downstream should that happen. I'm going to keep this on a wide view here for just a second here so we can see the context of where this rotation is in kind of a greater area. There we go. So now I can center that up and give you the latest on the velocity scope here to see where those rotating winds are. As that pops on the screen, right there between Georgetown and Lanesville as it was before. So if we were to draw a line kind of east-northeast or east directly here, that would put it clipping the northern edge of Jefferson County. But there is also a very small bit of a southern movement to these storms as well. They're kind of coming in this direction here. So that rotation may drift, as I said, you know, a mile or two south, and that would be super critical for downtown Louisville here. Real concerned that might try to squeeze into the area. Again, for those just tuning in, there has been no tornado spotted. But does that mean we need to let off our guard? Absolutely not. This is a kind of an area of rotation here that you need to take very seriously, because at any point, this could tighten up enough to put down a brief tornado. I don't think we're in a situation today where we're going to see strong or long track tornadoes. but it doesn't take that to cause damage and unfortunately injury. So we need to treat this like we would any other tornado situation. We need to treat this like it's already on the ground, even though we know it's not just yet. And of course, between Georgetown and Lanesville, those are the areas right now, right along I-64, where we've got the most concern for, of course, the potential for additional problems. Okay, we've got a note in from our newsroom here. Trees and power lines down on Highway 135 Southwest per dispatch. That's old Highway 135 Southwest per dispatch with this particular storm. Does that mean that's from a tornado? We don't know that at this time. It could just be damaging winds the way things look. We'll continue to monitor for any additional damage reports coming in from our newsroom and, of course, from you folks at home reporting it to your local emergency management, and then they report it back to us here via the National Weather Service here. So this may take some time to get reports out of what has happened here. I want to zoom in a little bit more here. We're going to go street by street as promised and show you exactly where this area of rotation is affecting at the moment here. So I'm going to take my zoom tool, really go in tight here between Georgetown and Lanesville. Boom, there we are. So this is going to be near Lacey Spring Boulevard, Brookstone Court, Crandall-Lanesville Road. This is just past you. So Lanesville, you're very close to this, but you're just to the south and west. You're in a little bit of a safer spot than you would be otherwise, so that's good news. Let's hope that continues for you guys down that way here. We'll pan the radar down a little bit. Okay, new scan just coming in here, so let's go back and then forward again and see that latest scan of the velocity here to see exactly where some of these rotating winds are located. Now, again, we'll go street by street here as we do that, so let's get that velocity on the screen here. There we go, velocity scope. If it cooperates with me, there we go. Okay, well, fantastic news. Where did it go? Seems to have dissipated somewhat here. Not surprising given the weather situation. The weather setup today has not a whole lot of wind shear in there. So what this was basically this line of storms was moving through, and the storm to storm core interaction here kind of jostled up the winds, almost like kind of a rock in a stream creates a little eddy in the water here, and atmosphere is a fluid. So that's what happened here. We got that rotation that sprung up, you know, really quickly and stayed on the radar for several scans. It was almost surprising they didn't have a tornado warning out a little bit earlier than this, but there wasn't really any evidence that a tornado was really going to touch down. The atmosphere wasn't really in the right place today. So pretty good call by the National Weather Service here. So we will see if they indeed continue this downstream now as a severe thunderstorm warning. The way this looks, I want to zoom in on this just a little bit more here to get an idea of exactly where this is. So there we go. As we zoom in, it's right here. It's very faint now. So this is just south of Duncan. We are just east of Lanesville. This has now crossed Indiana 11. This is booking it toward the Ohio River at this time. This is going to be well north, by the way, of where like the casino is on the river across from PRP. I don't think that's going to be affected at all. This is more so of sort of a Shawnee, Portland, maybe the northern part of Shively where this is going to track next. But really not seeing as much on the radar that would dictate to us a tornado threat as we did before. Again, this may be a very short time that we're on the air here. We'll see what, of course, the National Weather Service does, but we're going to stay on the air until this threat has passed. That's our commitment to you with the Wave Storm Tracking Team. We're on as early as we can be, and we're off when the threat has passed. So that's what we're doing here. Again, south of Duncan, east of Indiana 11 here, and boom, just like that, right on cue, National Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning. Here's the plan here, guys. If any more warnings are issued today on the tornado side of things, we'll be back on here breaking in from time to time. We will also, of course, monitor for severe thunderstorm warnings should those be issued, and if those threaten the city in any meaningful way, we'll also be back on the air. But for now, we have no warnings in effect. It does not look like, and I'm just going to do just a quick round robin here to make sure before we jump off the air here and get you back to regular programming that we're in pretty good shape. I would just hate to be off the air and have a big old thunderstorm coming down on a city of 700,000+ people here, and you know, not make sure that we've done our due diligence to make sure that everything is in a good shape here for this storm to come through and not do any sort of damage here to the city. You'll see, of course, just that little whirligig of rotation there east of Lanesville. It's barely popping up kind of amongst the din or the clutter of the rest of the radar here. So I think we're in pretty good shape the way things look. All right, so we're going to jump off the air here, return you to regular programming. For now, I'm Wave Storm Tracking Team Meteorologist Ryan Hoke. We'll be back on the air as necessary necessary this afternoon if things progress to that point on this 4th of July. Happy 4th, everybody, and we'll see you back here for Wave News at 4.
Time to gear up and get